All right. So, what the heck are you drinking today? You were giving me shit last week about the my coffee being fake Coke.
You inspired me.
What were you having? Coke too?
Coke.
Oh, so you have a coffee mug
It's Coke
with
Zero.
Coke,
It has no sugar. Okay.
Coke Zero my ass.
Come
Yeah,
on.
this is Coke Zero
Cheers.
too.
There
Cheers.
we go. It's
Okay,
coffee. It's
here we
fake
go.
coffee. Nobody
Yeah.
has to know.
Yeah, I found this little plane. It's pretty cool. It's like an F-14, the Tomcat. It's like a lapel little thing, and it has the wings move and everything. And I found it in my drawer.
It's like a pin.
Yeah, I moved the pin. This is something that I was playing with when I was, I was going to say when I was little, but it's like maybe 3-4 years ago.
You're still a child, basically.
I still play with cars. Yeah. Anyways, that's the reminds me of Top Gun, the movie that is supposed to come back, Top Gun #2 or whatever they call it, the follow up, the sequel.
Yeah, that got delayed.
Yeah, but by the way, we're recording. Is that okay?
Yeah, just leave it in.
Okay, all right. Welcome to MGR Unplugged. You kind of have a little eavesdrop of our preliminary conversation. We have a good show today, basically because we don't want to discuss anything that is really, really relevant, at least to begin with. So we're just going to get started and play the music.
None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
All right, welcome back. So I was talking about this. Oops, I dropped it. This little plane is an F-14 Tomcat. It's the one that Tom Cruise flew.
I don't think the camera can see that.
In
Get
the
a hold
movie.
closer.
It's very little. It's like a spy plane, like a little microscopic thing. Anyway, it's very cool. It's like a little lapel thing, and which reminded me of the movie. I thought it was coming out this summer, and obviously now.
There's no movies this summer. Everything got
But I
delayed.
haven't heard about that movie. Like you said, Tenet is delayed, and they say I saw a preview yesterday. It says only in theaters in August or something.
August? I thought it was September.
No, I saw it yesterday. They had the preview on TV.
The new Christopher Nolan movie.
Right,
For people listening.
and it says only in theaters. That's for now, but obviously it depends because they just closed the theaters here in Arizona again. So, yeah. So, but I don't know what happened to this one. They were supposed to start in the summer, and now.
I mean, I'm assuming it probably got delayed till next summer.
Yeah, oh, that's a bummer. All the good movies are being delayed now. It's gonna be a traffic of movies now. So I like the idea of having movies on TV, like the release on the streaming, like they charge $20 like a pay-per-view fee. And which one is the one that we saw? The Mirror? No, the Invisible Man. Invisible Man was good. It's a good movie. And,
Would you pay though? Like it's $20 now, but I have a feeling they're gonna raise the price once movie tickets come out. Would you pay like $25, $30
25 or 30? That's a big difference.
instead of 20? Because that's the number I've heard that they might go to 25 or 30.
I may go to 25 if it's just released. Maybe. But more than that, I don't think it's just worth it. I mean, you go to a movie and you pay basically $25 for 2 tickets or something. I mean, 12, 13, $14 a ticket. And then, I don't do much popcorn things, but you also get the experience of the dark screen. I mean, the dark room, the movie
Right.
theater, and all that stuff, which is what you pay for too. Now, if I'm just gonna pay the same money just to watch it on my TV, now because I don't have a choice, yes. If I have a choice, no.
Yeah, I think 25 is probably a good price because that's the cost roughly. I mean, it depends on the movie and where you live, but 2 tickets is probably roughly $25.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good price, but the difference is obviously when they go to a theater, they split that 50-50 with the theater.
Right. No, I
If they
understand.
charge
And
25,
obviously-
they take 70%.
And obviously, if we're talking like maybe me and you or something, but if you have families and things,
Right, obviously if you have like 4 kids
for
or whatever,
a family
that's
movie and you charge 25, it's fine because it's actually cheaper to watch it at home. But at the same time, you're not taking the kids out to the movie, which is part of the fun. The kids like to watch a movie at home. They're already playing video games and watching all kinds of stuff. So they don't see the difference between, we're paying 25. It's like a movie experience. They like to go to a movie. So, but yeah, financially it's cheaper for a family of 4 or 5 with 2-3 kids to to get a movie for $25 than actually go to a movie theater. So we'll see. That's up to the movie studios. I think for now it's a good solution. And maybe in the future, I think they give people a choice, saying, "Hey, you want to see in your house? Not going to the movie theater? Pay $25. Or you want to go to a movie theater? It's there too. Just pay $25.
Yeah, it's there for now.
And risk, and risk being, next to somebody else, So, anyways, one of the things I wanted to talk about is we said it last week. I mean, we already started the second half of the year. It's July. This is 4th of July weekend for us, which I've never seen a 4th of July weekend more subtle than this one in a lot of time.
I know. I didn't even think about it. I think I saw the first thing about it
I know
yesterday or
isn't that it's amazing. I mean,
but
first of all,
nobody can travel, and a lot of people like to travel for it.
Not only that, first of all, it's a Saturday, which kind of kills the weekend a little bit. I mean, people like the 4th of July weekend when it's like Friday or Tuesday or whatever, like you can kind of sometimes take a day off and make it a long weekend. But this year, with everything going on and the limitations that you have as far as traveling or doing anything and stay home and all that, it's like even obviously we do a lot of promotions for clients for the 4th of July, and this year it's been totally quiet. Nobody's promoting anything. So it's like, wow, weird, like 4th of July is one of the major holidays, obviously, for us, with Memorial Day and Labor Day and all that, and it's like nothing, So that's a little strange, but regardless, we're starting the second half of the year, and I was actually thinking, I have like a split personality, an optimistic me and a not so optimistic. I wouldn't say pessimistic, but not so optimistic. And the optimistic me says, all right, well, the worst is over. We're just going to go now and start kind of getting slowly back to the new normal. Things start to get back to normal. A big factor would be if the sports that are scheduled to restart go smooth and everything, even though it's not going so well so far. But I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, we go into a second half. It's the summer, and then we get into the fall. Kids go back to school, hopefully. Then we get back into the holiday season, all that stuff, and hopefully things are under control. We find some solution, treatment, if not vaccination or something that keeps things under control. And then people start traveling again, all that stuff. So we kind of end up the second half of the year on a higher note.
I don't think we're going to find a vaccine.
No?
We're not going to find a vaccine this year.
No, not so soon, but they're talking about different treatments and different things that will help control the COVID-19 as a treatment until the vaccine comes around, which obviously is going to take more time. But the main thing is just controlling it to a point that cases don't keep increasing, or even the cases are there that people are, okay, like I have a flu or a cold or something, I can control it. It's not something that is a death sentence or anything like that.
But the strange thing is that the cases keep going up. I'm talking in the U.S., but deaths are still going down. Like daily deaths are still going down.
In fact, it's funny you said that, because I was just looking at this computer here, this other laptop. I was looking at that. I was looking at the Johns Hopkins numbers. And in the U.S., I mean, you read this everywhere. Everywhere likes to say that the U.S., oh my God, the most developed country in the world, has the highest cases. They failed miserably with this pandemic, blah, blah. That's not really true. I mean, yeah, we have more cases because we have more freedom. We don't lock down people like they do in China or in other places. We like our liberties. We like our, I mean, sometimes we go too extreme or something. But yeah, we also have 350 million people that are registered, and maybe over 50 million that are not even, counted, So with so many people having...
How many? 50?
Huh?
How many did you say?
I don't know.
50? That's an exaggeration.
Okay, well, there's a few million that we know that are undocumented.
50 million.
I don't know. It could be whatever. It doesn't matter. But even if we officially are 350...
we're not 350. We're like 320 something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You look at that census. Did you fill out the census, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, that's why. You are one person that is not counted right
forgot.
now. Okay, well, now it's on the record. He didn't even... Okay, so...
No, actually, I'm joking. I did fill it out. Don't come after me. Thank you.
So 50% of the people right here didn't fill out the census.
Okay.
That means that we're probably about 600 million in the country.
Yeah, 600 million. I don't know where all those people are living, where those extra couple 100 million people
In
are.
the high density populations of the U.S. Anyways, back to the numbers. Yeah, we have 2.6 million. We're getting records now, 50 million cases, 50,000 cases every day or something. But like you said, the mortality rate.
But I wonder if a lot of the new cases, because basically a lot of people are not dying. Like, it's not like, it'd be different if all of a sudden the cases started going up and deaths started going up with it. That would be very concerning. But there's not more deaths. And I thought, okay, let's wait because there could be a lag in deaths. But I mean, the protests and all that started like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we've really been pretty open and congregating for about a month, and the deaths still have been going down.
Yes.
So, but I think a lot of it is just you have a lot of younger and healthier people who were basically locked down and sheltering in place, which is the right thing to do. But then now that they're going out and they're getting it, and it's showing us cases, but they're not dying or anything. Because, if they're, I mean, we had basically every college kid, every high school kid, basically everybody under 30 in the country was probably, for the most part, shut down, right?
Right.
And none of those people are going to die.
And
even
athletes that we know of. I mean,
right. That's another interesting thing. Like all the athletes,
right?
Like in the NBA, I mean, dozens of players have gotten it. I haven't even heard.
Even soccer. Remember yesterday I read that the Dallas soccer team from the MLS, FC Dallas or something I think it's called, they had like 9 players that tested positive.
The interesting thing is that of the at least of the NBA players that I've seen, I don't think any of them have ever even reported being like actually sick.
No.
Like they just said they got it, they tested positive, but they were fine.
Yeah, they're asymptomatic.
Yeah.
They say, I tested positive.
Now, those guys are like super athletes, all of that, so
understood.
they're not a good sample of the population.
Right.
But it shows that probably in younger, healthier people, it's not having. I mean, we can just look at the death rate for young people. It's just almost
very minimal.
zero.
Yeah, I mean, for the U.S., I was just saying the numbers for the U.S. as far as
basically what I'm saying is I'm fine. It's your guys' problem.
No, but cases. We have about 2.6 million cases from the beginning of the pandemic, and then the cases death rate in the U.S. is about 4.6% or something, and that includes, all age groups. Well, when you dissect that 4.8% by age groups and age brackets, the majority of those are in the 70 plus, in nursing homes and blah, blah, people with pre-existing conditions, people that are overweight, all kinds of things. And then as you go down to other brackets, it's really nothing to be afraid about, like 0.8, 0.6, things like that.
That's really interesting to me that I was looking at like a week or two ago was I was comparing death rates by country. And the strange thing about this virus is that I think the U.S. must have I think that there has to be, and this is just speculation, but there has to be different strains in different places of the world that maybe are more or less deadly. Because I was looking at like European death rates for different countries in Europe versus the U.S. And the U.S. death rate was less than half that of Europe if you look at number of cases versus number of deaths. And that's kind of strange because why would that be? Is the U.S. healthcare system better? I don't know.
Well, one of the main factors, as we said, is like, for example, everybody was talking Italy back in the beginning.
Right. But Italy is one, and obviously Italy has a lot of older people, so that was why they said that. But if you look at, I mean, it's across the board, Britain, France, Spain, Italy, all those countries had a much higher death rate than the United States, like double or triple the death rate.
Right.
And that's really strange because I don't know exactly why that is.
I don't think it's the healthcare system.
I don't think so either.
Because, I mean, Europe has very good healthcare systems, but I think it's more the age of the population and maybe when they catch it. I don't know.
I thought it was density, but then that Europe is more dense. But that
gives more cases, not so much,
exactly.
not necessarily more death rate.
But then Europe also had much stricter lockdowns than we did. You know, in Europe, they basically went on full. I mean, in France and Spain and Italy, it was total lockdown. You couldn't leave your house. Here, we never had anything like that, other than maybe New York. But other than, which is our only dense city, which is, by the way, the place where the majority of the deaths in the U.S. are. Not the majority, but a high percentage of the deaths are. So I don't know exactly. But I even compared, because I said, okay, let's factor in for population density. And I compared the death rate in New York, which was the highest death rate in the country out of all the cities. But even that was still like half that of like the death rate of France and other countries. So
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I don't know why the U.S. death rate was so much lower.
Well, again, Europe is an older country as far as average age of the population. Continent, correct. I was thinking Italy, but majority of Western European countries, starting with Italy, and that's also the reason why Germany also had a lowest case to death ratio. They detected it right away, and that's another thing, because a lot of these countries are now admitting that they didn't react fast enough.
No shit.
Well, I know.
That's
I know.
everybody.
We know that, okay?
I
And
was saying that in February, you know?
Right. So, like, you have countries like South Korea, Singapore, and all these countries that are super, super dense. I mean, those guys have like 100 million people in a little teeny country.
The ones who did it the best, the country that did it the best, even though China wouldn't like to call them a country, is Taiwan.
Yeah.
Taiwan in January shut everything down. They're an island, but they still said
Borders,
nobody
everything.
in or out.
Yeah.
And I think they never even got like more than 1,000 cases.
Well,
or
and as you
something.
know, you see the news too. I mean, the pandemic started really heavily in the northern hemisphere, and then we have very little information about what happened in Africa or South America and things like
Yeah,
that.
obviously.
And now, obviously, it's expanding out there. And even in Australia, they had cases, and then they say, "Oh, we've gone over this," and New Zealand, all that stuff, and now they're having another of an outbreak. So it's obviously expanding. But the main thing is that I get to a point. I mean, I understand I want to be super optimistic and laid back or anything, and that's what people say, hey, we're opening too soon, we're ignoring this thing, and that's dangerous. And Dr. Fauci is saying, oh, I can see 100,000. Okay, enough of that shit. I mean, I understand, okay, there's a way to instill panic and fear for people, saying, oh, I can see 100,000 cases per day here in the U.S.
I
and
just
this and
think
that.
the problem is that
And it's like, okay, Fauci, you see 100,000 cases per day. With the population that we have in 35 days or 350 days or in a year, you run out of people. I mean, everybody in the U.S. is infected. And then what? After the year, we're just basically good? Because, I mean, it's just a matter of saying, okay, well, I don't want to compare with the flu is done to death or any other disease, but it's like, okay, yeah, I got the flu. That's not a death sentence, okay? I'm going to live with it. I'm going to take care of myself.
No.
I'm going to isolate myself.
But the scary thing is that we still don't know enough about it.
I know. Well, we know much more now than we did,
Yeah,
obviously,
but we
4
still
months
don't
ago.
know. You know, the thing that I'm not clear on, and it's just hard to tell because it's hard to find solid sources, honestly. And I don't even think, there's studies and research going on now, but we just don't know enough about it yet. Is the longer term impacts? Like, I still don't understand the people who are completely asymptomatic but then show permanent lung damage. That doesn't
Is
make
that proven?
sense. That happened, and I don't know
Was that
if that's
something?
a rare case, if that's more common. It's kind of like, I think a good way, I was trying to think of a way to equate it. Like it's kind of like chicken pox, where lots of people get chicken pox when they're kids, but these days we know how to treat it. I mean, we have chicken pox vaccine, but if, say, you don't get the vaccine or whatever, or you get it, like a lot of little kids haven't gotten it yet, and then they get chicken pox, whatever, they get it, and then it goes away, it sucks for a while, but then you're fine. But then you have shingles, right? And that doesn't go away, but that also doesn't show up for a long time, but it's gonna come back, right? If you had chicken pox, then you're gonna get shingles. It's in your body. I wonder if the coronavirus could be something like that, where, okay, maybe you got it and you were fine, you're whatever, you moved on. But then years down the line, you're gonna have serious consequences from it.
Yeah, that we don't know, obviously.
Well, that's my point. We don't know.
Maybe the asymptomatic people or people that are younger now that are, they say, that are safer or something, then, I don't know, they turn 50 in 20 years or 30 years from now, and then they get that viruses in their body or something. That's just, but to me, it's just a lifestyle thing. I mean, you need to take all the precautions that you can, but at the same time, you cannot be locked down forever.
No,
I mean, it goes to a
obviously
point.
not.
Right.
No, see, for me, I try to be as balanced as possible, because if anybody listened to this podcast back in January, February, I was sounding the alarm, saying we need to shut it down, shut it down. We don't know anything about this virus. We don't know the death rate, all of that. But now that I see in the U.S. especially that cases keep going up, but deaths are not going up, or even going down. Okay, it's definitely not as deadly as we thought it might be back in February. That's obvious. But hindsight's 2020. It could have been more deadly than we thought. So that's okay. I'm not saying we shouldn't have shut down. We should have. But is it time? Like, okay, the thing that's the worst thing we could do, which is what we're doing right now, is like yo-yoing back and forth of like, we're opening back up. Oh no, we're shutting back down again. Oh, and then we're going to open it back up for another month. And I mean, that is like disastrous for the economy.
That's the difficult thing to do, because I think we talked about last week when I was also traveling cross country and all the stuff. And I was like, the countries, the world in general is not ready for mobility of population in a pandemic situation. You know, like they say, okay, we're going to fly.
No, but I think it also exposed the amount of unnecessary mobility. Like all this stuff that like one thing that I think maybe it'll come back, but I don't know, is like traveling salespeople. When you can just have a sales call or a conference, why do you need to travel?
Well,
places?
you don't need to, and that happened also during the big recession that we had 12 years ago, when the reason for not traveling was financial.
Right,
like companies didn't have the money, and they were canceling all these meetings and conventions and trips to Vegas
and
all
the
that
other thing,
stuff.
Conventions and conferences and all
Right, but keep in mind that that's an incentive for people. I mean, when you're in a team, companies like to do these kickoff meetings for the year, for this, for that, and it's like a little. Yeah, but it's like when you're at school and you have a field trip.
Yeah,
do you have to have it? No, but it's good to get you.
When you're a kid.
Well, I understand.
But do you think grown adults need a field trip?
Yeah, they do.
I would rather just give me some vacation time if you want to give me more time.
Yes, but it's different. I mean, you still need to get the work done. So you do
if you do a off-site, nobody's getting work done. They're off-site.
No. I mean, you have a. I mean, I've covered a bunch of these corporate meetings and kickoffs and things like that. And you take a company like, I don't know, it could be Motorola, whatever, and then you move to a nice place.
Motorola, I haven't been around in a long time.
I know.
You know, update your example.
Yeah, but any company, you take a company that basically says we're gonna have a meeting, a company-wide meeting for whatever, or Verizon or something, and they say we're going to go in the summer or in December to a nice destination like Arizona. That does a lot of stuff for those meetings.
No, I
so
totally
when they do that, they
but
gather people from all over the country and they spend a week here. They have meetings, and then in the afternoons they have all these programs, so they have golf and spa and all that stuff.
Right,
it's nice.
I understand, but at the same time, like, who cares? I mean, is that necessary?
Well, I mean, it's like everything else. I mean, nothing is necessary. You know, I mean, do you need this? Do you need that? But I think it's a good incentive. Now, again, when they had this financial restrictions,
okay, let me ask you
it was
this.
very lavish for companies to say, oh, we're going to go to Las Vegas for a week. And they said, no, you're not going to go to Las Vegas. You're going to have a conference call or whatever. Obviously, that was 12 years ago. Today, we're even more developed as far as video conferencing, streaming, and everything else. So now it's for health reasons. Now it's the opposite.
Right.
Now some people are saying, no, why do I need to travel to see this client in Houston?
Do you think any company in the next 2 years is going to want the liability of moving all of their people to some place?
Well, that's a whole...
Could you imagine if Verizon does 1,000-person offsite, and then someone has it that goes there and spreads it, and all of a sudden 100 people on the top level of Verizon management are sick?
That is a good point, because that's a whole liability issue. It's
Right.
one thing that you say, hey, we're going to have this meeting in Houston. I mean, the same thing's happened to the NBA or whatever. And then people say, you know what? I don't feel comfortable for whatever situation. I have kids, or my wife is in this situation, or I had a weak immune system. I don't feel comfortable traveling in this situation.
Or a lot of these executives are old themselves.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So that's a whole different point. And I'm assuming companies will have their own policies. They're going to have to rewrite a lot of things saying, okay, it's voluntary. You can be streamed over the phone. It's for people who want to come or whatever. There's no difference whether you come or not as far as any consequences or anything. I don't know. I mean, but does a family have to go on vacation? Well, every family plans a vacation at some point, to go somewhere, whether it's a road trip or it's a
No. I'm
flight
not
trip.
talking about vacations. Obviously, vacations, people are never going to give up vacations, obviously. But I mean, like corporate retreats. I think a lot of these mega conferences and all that, I think that's going to be toned down, at least for the next couple of years, for sure.
They will, and they will probably reduce it to...
And by the way, I think that there's just a lot of unnecessary conferences and conventions and stuff. You know,
there
like
are.
I hate those things.
But it's no different than
I think
companies.
95% of
We've
them are
seen
a
how
waste of
many
time.
Silicon Valley companies are now saying working from home is going to be the future. So obviously, being in an office, that before it was, oh no, we like this camaraderie of being all together and all the stuff, and now they say, no, you can work from home. It's fine. We're going to save in office space. We're going to save a lot of things.
Do you think? I don't know, man. I think it depends on the work. I think depending on the type of company you are, I definitely think that the working from home is great, but people don't seem to talk about the drawbacks when they talk about like, oh, everybody's just gonna work from home. Like,
it's not for everybody.
Like yeah, it's great to work from home if you're like single and you have a nice apartment, but if you have kids and you have to take care of them,
not only that, if you're a couple and all of a sudden both husband and wife are working from home and they're both seeing each other 24/7 and all that stuff, it's not easy. It's a strain. It's like, hey, honey, I'm working, and she's working, and I'm working.
It's nice when you have like a home office, but what if you don't have a home office?
But even that, I mean,
you're working at the kitchen table all day. Is that really what you like?
Right. You have a place that is not made to be working. You can work from home 1 day, 2 days, whatever, and not. But if you have both members, or even you have older kids that are now going to Zoom University or something else, and like every day everybody's at home studying, working, whatever. It's just not the way to go. I mean, you sometimes it's good to go to the office.
Beyond that, there's lots of companies that benefit from social serendipity that happens in the office that doesn't happen working from home. It really depends on the job, what it is. Like we work remote, and we've been remote before this, but we are okay because I think the work we do doesn't necessarily require an office, right? Because a lot of the work we do is like we get a job from a client and then it needs to be done. And so a lot of the work we do
the whole
like,
business that we do is basically internet based. So
and on top of that, it's like a lot of the work we do is like someone needs to actually be able to sit down and focus and concentrate on building out some website or whatever they're doing. Or if I'm building ads in Facebook Ads Manager, I need to be able to sit down and focus for 2 hours and do that. I can't be distracted. But there's other jobs where serendipity is very useful. And so it just depends. But now, there are also the pros of like you don't have a million meetings a day that are totally worthless. Yes.
Distractions too.
You have, there's pros and cons.
Commuting and going to work and spending an hour in the freeways.
But I also think people, like just the biggest drawback of working from home for me is that I'm just home all day. And it's like sometimes it's like I need to just get out of the house.
But you can do that. I mean,
no, I know I can. But
I mean, not these days. But I mean, I used to work from home very nicely, and then
no, that's why so many people go to coffee shops and stuff.
Right, and in the afternoon I would just go out and go to a coffee shop 3-4 o'clock.
My only problem with the coffee shop is that depending on the work I'm doing, I like to have bigger monitors, and obviously I can't have that at a coffee shop. But no, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not 100%. Even though we are a remote company, I don't think that works for every company.
No, and for every person.
No,
a lot of people don't have the self-discipline.
Like, especially if I had a startup that was trying to build something from scratch, like let's say like a consumer app or something, I would want an office because I need to be in there with my team every day so that we can draw things up on the fly and work together and have that serendipity. I don't think that works remotely. Basically, I just don't think that would work.
No, I know, and I think this obviously working from home is no choice. But I think again, when I say going back to normal, is that okay? Well, offices will still exist. People will still go back to an office space. Maybe they have more flexibility.
Did you see what Facebook's doing?
No.
Facebook's laid off thousands of employees, and they said they're going to replace them with contractors. And they're just going to try hiring anywhere in the world. Basically, when Facebook said we're going to start working from home over the next few years, is like they said, well, we don't need all these Bay Area people anymore.
Well, one thing I heard is when they told them that they can work from home, and then a lot of people started moving out of San Francisco because it's so expensive and going to a place. If they can do the same work from Des Moines, Iowa. Nothing against Des Moines, Iowa, but I'm sure
Not
it's
even
cheaper.
Des Moines. You don't have to go to that far. You can go to like
Whatever.
Phoenix or Austin or other cities.
Well, whatever you want to live, that is going to be definitely cheaper than
Right.
San Francisco. But,
or
but
even
then,
elsewhere in California.
but
too.
then Facebook also said
We're gonna adjust your pay.
we're going to adjust your salary
They
because
say we only pay you that much because we have to because you live
Right,
here.
we hire you with a certain premium because we require you to live in San Francisco. But if you're going to move out and be on your own, in some-
200,000 in San Francisco is good money, but it's not crazy. It's because just living there is so expensive. 200,000 in most of the country is like you are super rich.
right. So Facebook said, yeah, you can move whatever you want, but we will adjust your salary.
But
to
not only that,
the cost of living of your new
they're
location.
trying to. I mean, they lay off. I don't know the exact number, but it was in the thousands of employees, and they basically said we're gonna replace them with contractors, which is really interesting.
Well, they already use a lot of contractors for the policing and all the stuff. But Facebook is a whole different case. I mean, there have been so many issues now that we can discuss too. But so back to the second half of the year. So
Did you hear about Zuckerberg in Hawaii?
no.
That's like the latest thing. He's like, I guess he owns land in Hawaii on one of the islands. I'm not sure which island it is. Maybe it is Hawaii, the island. I don't know. But he owns land there, and he's trying to build like some complex there, and he's trying to buy land from like the natives.
Oh, they don't like that.
And they don't want to sell it, and he's like suing people, and it caused the whole thing. And I'm like, dude, you get enough bad press already.
Yeah.
Do you really? You need more land in Hawaii? Is that
Hawaii
your
is
priority?
very intricate. And
Hawaii is like one of the most sensitive, not sensitive, I mean in a good way. They want to protect their land.
But they don't even, not only that. I mean, if I go to certain islands like Hawaii or even the big island stuff, and I say I'm going to move there, the locals
I know.
will want to know what kind of lifestyle you have.
I know.
And they don't want you to go there and just buy a house or build a house and basically break all the traditional stuff, So they don't like that. They want you to blend into them rather than you try to adjust, bring your thing, and then be a Western style guy living in Hawaii. They want you to blend in with the culture and live with their habits and traditions and all that stuff. So they don't like this kind of, I have big money, I'm just going to buy everything out and build my complex here. So they even do that with research stuff. I mean, like putting a telescope and things like that. It was a big controversy about putting like a big telescope there because of the clear skies, and they say, we don't want all these scientists and people come here and break our sanctuary thing, So, yeah, that's kind of tricky.
But I'm like, Zucks, come on, man.
Yeah, I know.
Do you need another press crisis on your plate? You don't have enough already. You're suing Hawaiian natives. I mean, give me a break, dude. Is that your priority?
So back to let me ask you, what if you were to predict is the word actually, what would be the second half of the year?
You know what they say about predictions.
Yeah. It's hard to make predictions especially about the future. Is that what Yogi Berra said? Yeah, but we're gonna have to make them. So if you were to predict what the second half of the year will be compared to the first half,
I prefer forecast, because then if you're wrong, you can just make a bullshit excuse. It was a forecast.
Yeah, like
I didn't say it was gonna happen. I said it could happen.
There's a 90% chance of rain, but then it doesn't rain. It's like,
well, that's the 10%.
That was the 90%. 10% was still not rain.
That's how you get away with it.
Or partly cloudy. That's
why I love like financial forecasts. I'm like, that means jack shit to me. I don't know what that means.
All right, whatever you call it, what do you think is going to be the second half of the year as far as business and society and life and everything else? Let's just stick it to the U.S. for now. Since
how I like to do these things is I like to say, if I had to bet on it, if I had to put my money where my mouth is, I'd give it another, probably July, another month, and then nobody will care anymore. It'll just be wide open, back to normal. Or starting to become back to normal. And even if cases keep going up, people are just going to go back to how it was. That's what I think.
I would say something like that. Like, I think people are
I think the
saying,
only thing that would make that not true is if deaths started going up a lot.
Right.
But because deaths haven't been going up, I think people are going to just start saying, well, fuck it. We don't care about cases if there's no deaths. So even if it means we have 1 million more cases, but not a lot of more deaths, I think people don't care. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, if you compare when we first started with the pandemic back in February and especially March, that nobody was kind of taking it seriously, and then all of a sudden they said, "Oh, Tom Hanks has it, and Rudy Gobert," and it's not until famous people had it that it didn't affect people, and now it's like we know of tons of famous people or relevant people that have it, and we don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, the thing with Tom Hanks is that he's like an older, not in great shape guy.
Yeah, but he was in Australia too,
and he was fine.
Yeah, and he was fine. Him and his wife. Yeah, so he was fine. But now it's like we're even past the point where we care about celebrities or athletes or whatever. It's like, okay, well, it's not news anymore. They say, oh, this person.
No, I know. I see it every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this guy from here got it. This famous person. Like, okay,
right,
whatever.
Right. So we're past that, which tells you that people are just kind of saying, okay, whatever, I don't care. It's like, oh, a record in the U.S. Okay, I don't care. And then the governors obviously are doing what they have to do because they need to please people and do the right thing. So, we're going to shut down again. We said that this is not going to be. It's like people are going to say, okay, fuck it, you open or you close, or what's the conditions? I honestly, maybe it's because I don't move enough, but I don't see much difference. I haven't seen much difference, at least in Arizona, from day one to now. I mean, we were under a semi-lockdown, but stores were still open.
Yeah,
restaurants were closed, and movies were closed, and all that stuff.
There was, during probably March, April, I noticed a pretty significant decrease in, like, traffic.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like, it obviously depends. Like, when I would go to, like, I would drive past just because I wanted to see, like, areas where it's like just tons of restaurants and shopping, and it was totally empty when normally it's packed.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I noticed.
And the traffic, yeah, that made a difference. That was a good difference, by the way. Stores were closed, restaurants were closed. For the most part, school in Arizona was over, which is the three major traffic situations. So yeah, you could move around like pretty fast in major highways and streets with no traffic. So that was good. But as far as the day-to-day life, you go to the store, normal. I mean, now you have to wear a mask and all that stuff, but I didn't see much difference. Now, the governor, I mean, I don't even know how these things are set, because the governor of Arizona, I don't know if he's just here or what, but I find out from other people.
That's the thing. Like,
how do you find out
like
what is visible?
Mask mandates in Arizona in different counties and cities. And the only way I knew that was because I saw it on Twitter. But if I'm not on Twitter, I would have no idea.
Well, I know. Or when you go to the first store and they say, oh, no, you need to wear a mask today, and yesterday you didn't. And you're like, okay, so you wore the mask, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I just need to know what the policy is, So
I went somewhere and I had to go to AutoZone because I needed a part for my car. And I just forgot my mask at home. I didn't think about it. And then I walked in. And I ordered it online, and I needed to pick it up. And the guy asked me, like, do you have a mask? And I was like, oh, shoot, I totally forgot. Like, I just spaced it, basically. And he was like, okay, well, you order online. He made me wait outside, and then he came out and gave it to me.
But that's just basically the rule. They don't give a shit. In fact, that particular store was totally open, and nobody even wore a mask.
Car issues, so I've been to this AutoZone back and forth for a while. And for a while, they didn't have masks or anything. And it wasn't until it was mandated that the store had I mean, it was like middle of April. And they didn't have
but
masks.
The point is that you find out about these things, and then they say, okay, they had a curfew, remember? When they said a curfew in Arizona, that was for the riots too. And like from 5 a.m. until 8 p.m. or something, like before 5 a.m. or after 8 p.m., unless you were coming back from work or something, you weren't supposed to be driving or anything. I didn't know it.
Yeah, I mean, these things are tough to police.
I mean, what are you
going to do? You're going to just start arresting people you see in the streets?
Right. I mean, I'm driving when I have to run an errand. It's like, I don't know, obviously early than 5 a.m. is difficult, but at 8 p.m. in Arizona, it's normal. It's like so hot here that people go out after 8 when the sun goes down to do stuff, go running, do whatever, and then all of a sudden there's a curfew. So I mean, those things are hard to police or implement even. So as far as predictions, I'll say the same thing. I mean, the only thing I can think of is it's going to create some confusion when we get to the fall winter season, and then we get the flu traditional season, and then people start getting more cases, and then they don't know if it's flu or if it's COVID. And
one thing I'm worried about, especially with how temperamental the global environment is right now. I don't mean the environment. I mean the mental state environment of people. I really wonder what's going to happen in the election as far as their response.
I wonder what's going to happen with the voting too. If it's going to be mail-in ballots or people going to vote.
I think it'll probably be going to vote by November. Yeah, I think it'll be people going. But I don't know, man. I really wonder both sides, like whoever wins, I really wonder what the response is going to be. I don't know.
I'm so what's the word? So not looking forward or so enthused about these elections because I really don't
I've become
like.
so disconnected from politics now.
It's
I'm
not-
ready to just like honestly like just walk away and stop paying attention because like
that's one thing. But the other thing is that unfortunately we don't have any candidate to look forward to. For
No,
one,
not at all.
It's a bipartisan system, so you have two, and the incumbent president has a lot of issues. Let's just put it that way. And
No,
then
I mean, I really wonder what's going to happen no matter who wins. Because if Trump wins, I just think that there's going to be, I mean, just massive protests and people very, very upset that it's going to be another 4 years of Trump. And if Biden wins, I'm like, oh,
I'm almost
my
more
God.
concerned.
If Biden wins, I'm like really like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know who his VP is going to be. I can't believe he hasn't announced
that's the
it
key
yet.
part.
I
That's the
mean,
key part. That he still needs to pick his VP, which has very good chances of being very influential. Whether it's a he or a she, it looks like he said it was going to be a female
yeah, I think
candidate.
he said that.
So, but I don't know. I mean, it's just that's what I'm saying. That these elections is like sometimes you say, oh man, I'm trying to kind of. There's always some kind of excitement, on the debates and all that stuff. And this year is like, I don't know. Give me the lesser of two evils. I mean, it's just
I just want somebody boring. I just want somebody who's gonna come in and say, "These are my policies. These are my beliefs," and I'm just gonna be quiet and kind of like I don't know, like a Carter type president back in the day. Even though I wasn't alive back then, but like somebody who like. It's just so bland and boring that nobody cares about them.
Yeah, but you need some president that has balls to do the right thing too and make the right calls and has a good team and has a stable team that doesn't get like is not fearful of expressing their opinion and being fired the day after. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, as much as I like Trump, sometimes the things that he's done, I also know that he's being a big mouth and a big screw up. And this is not politics or anything, but I don't even know if Biden will be any better, to be honest, because he'll be like completely the opposite side of the spectrum, like kumbaya, like everything goes, go China, yeah, bring all your stuff here. I mean, basically everything that we've had in the past was just basically for everything that's happened in the last 20 years mostly, So I don't know if it's going to be better. But aside from the elections, which actually is going to be a big event, hopefully at some point. Normally in any other year, at this point in July, we'll be having like all election news.
Do you think we're going to have debates?
Well, I don't know if we're going to have on-site debates. If you remember, the Democratic debates already happened without people, without audience.
Do you think they'll do the same thing?
And they were the candidates when there were multiple
I think
ones.
Biden doesn't want debates. I think Biden says, I'm going to stay in my
Well, he said that
basement,
he's not going to do
hidden away."
campaign rallies now. He said that he's going to basically just do campaign rallies on video, whatever, streaming. He said that he's going to stay obeying the law and all that stuff, or the guidance of the CDC. Trump said that he's going to still continue doing rallies. He didn't want in Oklahoma, which wasn't that successful. Didn't fill out the arena and all that stuff. So, but the debates themselves, yeah, I mean, hopefully, as we get closer to election, I mean, this is still July, but if we get to October and, early November.
I think it's amazing because I think this is the Democrats' election to lose. And they might lose it because they put Biden in place. Like they had 1 million candidates and they picked Biden.
Well, I mean, when they had the
no, but the establishment was pushing for Biden. I mean, they had tons of choices.
Yeah, but they thought that Sanders was too risky, too socialist.
Yeah, probably.
And then Warren is a nutcase, and I don't know. I mean, the other ones that were better were not. They didn't have enough pull, enough name. Like Tulsi Gabbard and Yang Gang and all these candidates that I don't know what else. I mean, Biden had been vice president, so you have a person that is like by the party and everything, and then he has now Obama's endorsement saying, okay, he normally would have been the candidate usually, except that he decided not to run for personal reasons, but normally he would have been the elected candidate back when Obama couldn't run anymore, So, but he decided not to run, and now he's running later. So, but when you have a vice president that has been there for 8 years running for president, that's the establishment. I mean, that's the candidate you have to have. So, I don't know if the Democratic Party had a choice, to be honest, as far as picking somebody else. But again, there's a lot of conspiracies and things behind the scenes going on, and he's not officially the candidate just yet.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, no, he doesn't have enough delegates yet. I mean, it needs to be.
Yeah, who's gonna beat him?
Well, like I said, I mean, there could be. There's a lot of things going on with. Anyways, that's a whole different conversation. But he doesn't have the delegate count to be officially nominated yet. So, but again, my prediction for the second half of the year is that there's a point where people are just gonna say, "Listen, this is with us. We're just gonna live with it, the virus and the possibility of infection. We're gonna have to be careful. We're gonna have to get used to wearing masks in public places, social distancing, whatever." Take all the precautions and then don't lower your guard, whatever. But we're gonna have to live with it until we have a vaccine and we feel safer. But we need to get on with our lives. Our kids need to go to school. People need to go to college, and people need to go to work and make a living and shopping and this and that. And as much as things have changed now, and they've shown that you can do things in a different way, which is always good, like shopping online and having things delivered and all that stuff. We are animals of tradition and habits, and we eventually say, okay, we did our time. Now we like to get back to normal. And so traveling for the holidays, I don't know, Thanksgiving weekend is the highest traveling weekend. We'll see how that happens. How many people are going to travel? How many families are going to have Zoom conference Thanksgivings? I don't know, So, but I think that's my optimistic point of view. My pessimistic is that there's a huge second wave that comes mixed up with a flu or something, and then everything goes chaotic, and then people are just saying, okay, what the fuck? What do we do now?
My pessimistic is that no matter who wins the election, things are going to be really bad. That's my pessimistic view, if I had to have one.
Yeah, you're tying it to the elections. I don't know.
Think I'm not a big political person, but I think this specific election, it's just because, just look at how many people are protesting, how many people, I just think that no matter what.
Well, but you don't win the elections with no people voting for you. So if you win the elections, it's because the majority of the country, at least 50%, normally has voted for you. So that means that 50% of the country wants
but
this
that also
person.
means 50% of the country doesn't.
Right, which was the case last time.
Right, but I just think...
So, either we're a democracy or not. We need to accept whoever wins the election, which one way or the other. So, and I think people will just get on with their lives, and they just don't want a president that is going to be...
You think if Trump wins, they don't care? I think you're out of your mind.
Well, the people who don't like him will care, but from there to doing riots and demonstrations, that will be the wrong reaction.
They're but that's going to be the reaction. It is 100% going to be the reaction. You don't think so?
I hope not.
Hope or
no?
Hope
I hope we're more civilized than just not accepting the election result. I may like one person or another, but I'm willing to accept what the majority of people decide to do. That's what the spirit of democracy is. If we're going to be rioting every time there's a president elected.
No, I don't think you should riot.
Last time everybody expected Hillary Clinton to win, and then Trump won, and then it's like big shocker. And then the economy itself just skyrocketed right away and all the stuff, and it went fine. And then, really, to paraphrase Trump, which is not a good thing, the economy and all the stuff was doing no, it wasn't. Unemployment, all that stuff was doing well until everything happened. So, but we don't have these issues. Whether people like him or not, people vote with their wallets. And as we discussed before,
no, people definitely vote.
All
with
these
their
Democrats by voice and everything ended up, even in Hollywood and Beverly Hills and all these places, ended up voting for Trump because they said, you know what, I'd rather pay less taxes.
No, 100%.
So that's how it goes.
No, 100%.
So,
but no, I'm just anticipating. I'm not commentating. I'm not trying to comment right or wrong. I'm just anticipating the reaction.
Yeah, but the reaction is to be mostly for other issues like racial issues and other stuff, and that's a separate issue than whoever is the president. Okay?
I think you think that.
No,
I don't think.
Whatever.
Think that.
Well, but you have to be realistic, and whatever happened now in 3 years with Trump as president, it's not just now. We had Obama as president for 8 years, and things were much better racially back then. Okay.
No, I just think that a lot of people on the left are going to be very, very upset because then they know it's another 4 years of Trump.
Of course, that's what you're voting for. Yeah, but keep in mind, the president only has so much power. It's Congress and...
No, I know
and
the president.
is
I
the-
think the president should have even less power. But
Right. I mean, we give too much power to that. I mean, he may be tweeting to death all these monosyllabic or one-liners in caps or whatever. But at the end of the day, Congress and the House and the Senate and stuff are the ones who make the decisions. And I'm more interested in seeing how the House and the Senate are going to end up in majority or minorities or this or who controls it, because that's what the big deal is. That's where the laws are basically made and signed off or not, and then you have to agree on legislation and everything to pass the laws. The president can veto or do whatever, but at the end of the day, he only has so much power. So we'll see.
what
Anyways,
do you think the reaction would be if Biden wins?
If Biden wins, I mean, the media will be super happy. I can tell you that. I mean, all the CNNs and all the MSNBCs and most of the media outlets will be very happy because they hate Trump. They love to hate Trump. That's just the bottom line, So
I think they secretly want him to win. I think they secretly want him to win.
Want Trump to win?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously it's
He
more
brings
news.
ratings.
Yeah,
I don't think
mean,
Biden brings ratings.
Exactly. It's like they want ratings because the political debates are the highest rating shows. They even when there was election year last time in 4 years ago, they even had higher ratings than the NFL when they started and all the sports shows and everything, because the debates with Trump even before the election and even the rallies and the meetings and all that stuff were more broadcast and more audience than NFL games and basketball games that were at the same time. And that was the first time it happened. It's well documented because it was more entertaining to watch him run his mouth, So
Yeah, but that was also because it was novel. It's not novel anymore.
well, it's not novel, but still people want to see that. I mean, but I don't know. If Biden wins, it's like, okay, he won. I mean, I just hope that we react as a civilized country and saying, okay, we voted, we were supposed to. I hope people go to vote for whoever you want, and then accept the results. That's it. You're not going to vote just for the president. You're going to vote for a lot of other people too. So that's the chance. And just vote. And if he doesn't win now, okay, that means that more people selected or elected the other person. And that's fine. Let's just you all on with your life. I mean, going out there and doing riotings and destroying other people's property, all that stuff, I don't see how that solves anything. Seriously. I mean, I don't see how that solves anything. So in any situation, it's not just in the U.S. election. It's just anywhere in the world, Like, okay, we had the issue here with George Floyd, and then I don't see why people need to go in Sydney, Australia, doing demonstrations and throwing shit at properties and destroying. I was like, okay, we understand. We're going to change things, and hopefully this is a turning point, which is very important. But at the same time, don't destroy other people's properties. Don't go and do all that shit, because I know it's a minority, but that's unfortunately the one that gets all the highlights and the tweets and everything else when you see those little clips, So anyways, the other thing is I wanted to get something to sports. I mean, I'm a big fan of certain sports, especially auto racing, and this is the first weekend that Formula One is coming back finally. They were supposed to start in Australia, and now they're starting in Austria, which is, they just got a, that's a joke, huh? It was good. I've been working on that one for a while.
Wow, that was
I know,
really
it's very
original.
important. Yeah, so they got rid of a couple of letters, and they said, okay, we're going to start in Austria.
You ever considered doing stand-up?
I do sit down. It's
Okay.
more comfortable.
Oh, wow.
So it's the same thing, same mics and everything. Just no audience. If the people don't laugh, it doesn't matter. So anyways, they're going to Austria this weekend. Actually, going to be the 2 weekends in a row. We have a semi-season set up for 8 races. And first race in Austria, second race also in Austria. They call it something different. And then the third one is in Hungary. And then I think they go to England. So we have 8 races locked down for now. And then the rest of the schedule is still to be determined. Whether they come to the US and all that is still to be seen. But anyways, that's a good sign. They're starting. No spectators. It's going to be closed doors. I saw already images of the drivers and the teams arriving, everybody with their masks, social distancing. Half crews, we're talking about journalist stuff. The journalist press corps basically is going with half of the teams. They'll have skeleton crews there with, to cover the sidelines and the event and all that stuff, but not the full crews. Trying to reduce how many people are there to keep the social distance. But it's good. I mean, I think it's good for fans in general of all the sports to start seeing that somehow things are, they have something else to talk about, whether it's their favorite sport or their favorite TV shows or whatever. And basketball is also scheduled to start in Orlando at the end of the month. And I see that every night. I mean, I see more news, and even the commissioner Adam Silver said pretty much the same thing. He says, "Hey, we're gonna have to live with this and adapt to it. So might as well just try to live with it and play. Otherwise, we're gonna see home." Yeah, of course it's money. Of course it's money. But the NBA is supposed to be losing. I think they said that, well, first of all, the Orlando bubble thing that they call is going to cost them about $150 million just to play there. That's what they said.
Why?
Well,
I didn't hear that.
It was last night on.
Why does it cost that much?
Just protecting, organizing all the tests. They're basically
Maybe
they had 400 something people, team members going there. They had to test everybody. They had to prepare all the safety situations for reporters, for everything, the hotels, everything, whatever. I don't know what the cost. I mean, I can imagine some of the cost, but that's what it's going to cost. In addition to that, they said that this year they're losing, I think they said $1 billion. I think it may be 1.5, but at least it's $1 billion in losses in revenue, basically,
right.
due to the league canceling the games all this time. So, but if they go back there, yeah, of course it's money. It's like everything else, money for the players, money for the league, money for everybody. There's a lot of money revolving around the league, and the NFL is supposed to start. They said they're going to have the preseason reduced to 2 games. I think that's always a good point. I think 4 games for the preseason is excessive. A lot of players get injured in preseason just because start playing hard to try to make the team, and then they're done for the season. So it's going to be 2 games instead of 4, and then the schedule will continue to be normal. I'm not sure about the spectators. Back the NFL is October, November league, so we'll see what happens by then. But I think that's a good sign. I think that's something that is going to take people away, news away. I'm sure all the sports shows are going to be super happy to finally have something to cover other than highlights from 20 years ago. Baseball, I think they made a deal too for 60-something games or something, so it's coming back. Not that I care a bit about baseball, but it's coming back. So any other comments you have on anything?
Nope. The only sport I watch is basketball, so I'm just
Right,
waiting.
so are you excited about, I mean, you're going to have a lot of...
Yeah, but it's still like another month away.
Well, it's just 3 weeks away. We're
29th.
Right, but that's when they actually had the first game. But they're going to have the team, the players are reporting in a week or so. They're going to have their pre-games and all that stuff. And so I think it's pretty exciting. There are some players that are actually opting out, which is free for them to say. I mean, they have the freedom to say, I don't feel safe. And some players are doing that.
I think very few are going to do that.
Very few, but some of them have already said it. And so in those cases, obviously they're going to hurt the team, but the team said you have the freedom to not come if you don't feel safe. And some players do it for personal reasons, like wives being pregnant or expecting a kid or whatever, and they just kind of don't feel that it's the best situation for them to just go into that. So, but I'm actually curious to see how this bubble works, because if it works, it could be implemented for other places, for other sports, saying, okay, we're going to concentrate all the teams in like they were talking Vegas before, saying, okay, everybody goes to Vegas. They have lots of space there for hotels and casinos and everything, and then they have arenas for basketball and everything else, and they can just play there and then be secluded. So you kind of put them in a situation that is under control, So yeah, we'll see how it goes. As far as traveling, unfortunately for the U.S., the EU just canceled or basically left the U.S. out of the list. Are you falling asleep or something?
No, I'm just stretching.
Stretching your neck. Yeah, so did you hear that about the U.S., the European Union put out a list of countries?
Yeah, we'll see how long it lasts. They need our tourism, so we'll see. I don't think it lasts more than a month, probably.
Yeah, obviously they review the list. They said every couple of weeks, but still, it's interesting that they supposedly allowed travelers from China, but then they said that the U.S. Is not actually in the list anymore as far as countries from visitors allowed to travel into European countries. But the caveat to that is that, of course, in typical European Union fashion or European non-union, they said that's the official union policy, but each country can do whatever they want. Each country has the ability to say, hey, I know we're not supposed to allow people from this country, but we kind of want them to come, so they can do that. So that's a big thing. They had to consult whatever, but for example, if Portugal says, hey, we want American people to travel to our country because we love them, that's fine. We don't need to let him go into Spain or France, but we can allow him in Portugal.
Doesn't that kind of negate the whole thing? Because everybody can travel freely in Europe, so...
No, because they, if we travel to Portugal, for example, and Portugal says, yeah, we allow...
I mean...
You cannot go beyond Portugal.
With your virus, you, a dirty American, go to Portugal, you give your virus to the Portuguese person, and that person can go anywhere they want in Europe.
Well, yeah, that's basically, yeah.
Just keep your dirty American hands
and
off
they'll blame the Americans.
Portuguese.
So anyways, that's why they go by this ratio of infections or whatever per 100,000 population or people. And the U.S. is above that ratio right now. Mostly, I think it's partially because we count everybody and they count half of the people, but that's okay. All right, guys. I think that's it for this first episode of July. And hopefully we'll have some good news, better news. And we'll see if our predictions are accurate.
Do you want to do 2 seconds of conspiracy corner?
Oh, I'm always into conspiracies. I'm not a conspiracy person, but I love to listen to them.
Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's wife or whatever you call her, got arrested this morning. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah.
I'm working. I don't see the stuff like you are just
The
tweeting.
FBI arrested her.
Where is she?
I don't know where she was, but she got detained by the FBI. So today, as of recording this, is July 2nd. So how many days until she commits suicide, you think? That's the question, right?
I don't know. I'm actually watching the Jeffrey Epstein series on Netflix. I watched the first episode. I think it was like a week or 10 days ago. I'm still on the first one. Then I started watching Succession again for season 2. That is the season that's the show that I wanted to watch, and it's been pushed back too. But anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think it's four episodes or 5 or something.
Yeah, I watched the first 3. I didn't watch the last one.
Right.
It's a depressing watch, honestly.
Yeah, obviously the whole topic is not very uplifting. But anyways, I watched the first one, and I definitely want to finish it up.
Right, but in the documentary, they say she disappeared. Nobody knows where she is.
Right.
She got arrested this morning.
Okay.
And I didn't read where she was.
So we put
on
in jail and the suicide watch, and then some miracle things. She'll be hanging herself.
There will be a power outage. The security cameras
CCTV
went off.
will not work.
The security guard fell asleep with the newspaper in his lap, and someone's, we didn't see what happened.
Yeah. That's okay. No, I didn't know about that, but I'll check out what do you find out on Twitter too?
Yeah, I think.
Is Twitter your main source of news these days?
I don't like to watch any news, but if you go on Twitter, you can't really avoid.
So, just curious, because I just realized last night that I had not. Every time I open Twitter, it gives me this little symbol that I missed a lot of shit, and then I go and it's like it goes back on the timeline for like 5 days that I haven't been on Twitter. So, but is that your main source of news now? Like you go every day, right? Several times, or
I don't really. I mean, I don't look for news. Obviously, people tweet news and all that. So if I see it, I see it. I don't know. I try not to look at any news these days, honestly, other than like certain financial news just for markets.
Right.
But I don't follow really day-to-day political news or stuff like that. I've been trying to reduce my news consumption, honestly.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't watch any TV news or even local news or anything like that. But like you said, I mean, I follow financial news and obviously stock market and everything because
I don't follow news outlets on Twitter, but people obviously I follow will retweet or whatever,
Right. Yeah, but even Twitter to me is so I cannot follow threads. I mean, I see something and it says follow the thread. And then even if it's a topic that I'm interested in, I say, oh, that kind of looks interesting. So I click to see the whole thread. And then people replies to the thread. And then it's like you could be there hours and you don't even get the whole information. There's replies to replies to replies. And then you go back 3 steps to the original thread. And then you find another reply. And then people pick comments to that reply. And then comments to the comments. And it's like, wow. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's just a time-consuming thing. You need to be really disciplined to touch and go, basically. Like I'm gonna check this thing, a couple things, a couple comments, and then bail out. Just not get too involved. So, all right. Well, that's all we have for today. Really, I was looking at the topics, but I don't want to make it too long. So we'll leave some for next time. I'm kind of curious about some other issues and the financial economic stuff. I mean, the market is doing well today again. I mean, we added 4.8 million jobs in in
Oh,
June.
we didn't even talk about.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That we have a few topics that we left out.
I wanted to talk about inflation. I know that's a very exciting topic, but
yeah, no. At this point, if we have any listeners still there, I don't think they want to listen to about I'll talk about inflation. So, anyways, guys, thanks for sticking out with us for all this 1 hour long episode, and we'll be back next week with another episode, and then hopefully I'll be able to talk about F1 results.
I know everybody's very excited about that.
Everybody's
very excited.
The race is, I think, at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Pacific time. Don't miss it. Be there. It's going to be on ESPN. And I'll definitely be up early watching the live because that's what I do. All right. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. And we'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.
See ya.